Thank you. Appreciate you guys, ladies, being here today. Uh, it really is. Last week was a good week for our basketball program. We kind of started with our tip-off celebration. I thought it was kind of started us with our players, kind of seeing that, college basketball is right here upon us. And, right now we feel good about our team. We got a lot of work ahead of us. Like Tony said, we do have in the championship game, we have four guys who started that game, from Jaquan Raymond and Giddy Potts, Perrin Buford, Reggie Upshaw. Really, Darnell's like a fifth starter who is such a valuable player for us down the stretch. Jacob Ivory, who was such a really good player and suffered the concussion-type symptoms, has had a really good preseason. Josh Phillips, who got hurt last year, missed nearly the whole end of the year, maybe our most improved player. Well, in fact, he is from the spring until right now. Then Xavier Habersham, who also redshirted. So we feel good. We got a nice nucleus. I think our leadership has been good. Like everybody in college basketball right now, it's kind of getting in the days of the grind, where players and teams start separating themselves from each other this particular time because of nicks and bruises and being able to kind of ring the bell every day. So we're excited. We've got a scrimmage against another team Sunday, and I know our players are looking forward to that.
Coach, what are some of the things you noticed in Conference USA play? I know last year you guys went 19-17 overall as a team, but the year before that you had an exceptional record of over 20 wins. What are some of the things year to year in Conference USA play that you've been able to take away?
Well, the league, and I think this is that, we've got to do a good job as a league, although, of winning games in November and December. We have the possibility of being a top 10 basketball league without question, this league, and it's not just coaches speak. We definitely have a chance to be a league that gets 2 or 3 teams in, but we got to do our job in November. Personally, our team, we've got to be a better road team. Up until last year, we were one of the best road teams in all of college basketball the 4 years previous. And we lost a lot of close games in conference play. You can just go down the list, whether it's UAB triple overtime, Rice double overtime, North Texas last second shot. And so we didn't finish games like we needed to. We had them on the road. We'd have been right there for the regular season championship. So that's one thing with the toughness part, hopefully with our experience part, that our team's a better road team in league play.
Your team stretched down the road in the CUSA tournament. Does that provide motivation that you guys, like you said, it's a tough conference. Does that provide motivation that you guys can compete and do well in a tough conference like this?
Yeah, we won the regular season the year before and got to the semifinals and got beat by the team. The last 2 years in league play, in the tournament, the team that's beat us in the tournament in the semis, Tulsa won it. Last year, UAB, obviously, in the championship game. So, maybe ask our players more about the motivation part, ask Darnell. But I know we've had a really good spring workout. We just became a better practice team. I mean, this time last year, we were all out of sorts. We had 10 new players. We didn't trust each other. Our leadership was not great. And we dove right into a really hard schedule, and I kind of knew what was coming. I don't think our players did, but we learned some really hard lessons. But to give them credit, our team got a lot. Maybe one of the most improved teams I've ever coached, especially since I've been here.
Coach, working on shooting, you guys shot under 40% from the 3-point line last year. What are you guys working on to get that percentage up, and who on your team this year will probably be your most valuable asset when it comes to shooting the 3-point shot?
Darnell, who'll come up here, is probably one of the toughest matchups, I think, in our league. I think Darnell will play the 5 and the 4. And if we had to start today, he'd be kind of our starting 5. I think Darnell can tell you our 5 and 4. We give so much freedom to our 5 and 4 men. But Darnell's conditioning has gotten better. His ability to be able to practice on a competitive basis for back-to-back-to-back-to-backs, what he struggled with last year, and it's that's what we've got to really continue to improve on. But you're talking about a guy who may be as good as any 3-point shooter in our league at the center spot. And we are doing a lot of different things to try to stretch other teams out. Giddy Potts has shot the ball very well. I think Perrin Buford is probably maybe our most improved 3-point shooter. And, so I think we got a number of different guys who can make shots. But you're right, Aldo, our team needs to be competitive and shoot the ball at a better clip from 3-point.
We talked on Thursday a little bit about that schedule and, starting on the road with so many games, and you said that Seth called you crazy for doing something like that. How important is it to get those wins early in the non-conference before you head home and get ready for conference play?
Well, it doesn't make or break your year, but I tell you what, when your team's like us and you're trying to get in the mix nationally, then obviously those early games, and you go on the road at Murray, and that's as hard a place to play. The last time we were there, we won. They got us pretty good here last year with a veteran team. They'll have a great crowd, games on national TV, so it's going to be a great way to start basketball. And then we go to Tennessee State, and I don't know if any of our guys on our team have been to Tennessee State. I've been there, and I'm telling you, every game's always competitive. We'll play them on a Saturday night and then take off for Alaska. So it is. That first couple weeks of our year, we'll definitely get tested on the road and some really good neutral site games.
Both you and Coach Insel talked about wanting to see CUSA get some more teams into the tournament. A couple years ago, you won the regular season, but didn't win the conference tournament, so you didn't get in. How frustrating is that to have such a successful regular season, but not make it into the tournament? And would you like to see the tournament expand further to be able to get those regular season champions in?
Yeah, our RPI was around 59 or 60, and we were the best rated RPI team in the country that didn't even get in the NIT. Last year, UTEP, we got 5 teams in postseason. UTEP's, I think, RPI was around 66, 68, and they got in the NIT. They lost at Murray in the first round. So it is, but it's just, our margin of error in leagues like Conference USA is a really good league. It's not as much, and those first 8 or 10 games are critical. If I could change one thing in college basketball, it'd make the field to be 96 teams. And I don't know, we continue to increase the number of college football bowl games, which is great, but you're talking about a moneymaker. I mean, you add an extra round, and in the millions and millions and millions of dollars, and I've proposed that add an extra round and give all the money back to the conferences and student athletes with cost of attendance, and help some of these conferences that can't do it, and some of these schools can't do it, and help them pay for cost of attendance. I mean, the money, any time that Major League Baseball, they expanded it, everybody frowned upon it. NFL football frowned upon it. NBA, they frowned upon it. And then all it is made it more interesting. Especially a product like us, an extra round of basketball would be great for everybody.
Talking about the conditioning of the team and also how the team has reacted better in practice, how beneficial was that summer trip this past off season?
It was good. The 10 extra days of practice was good. We've been together since June, and the competition there, I thought we played one team that was good. The other 2 teams, maybe would like to have played a little better quality of team, but the trip was fantastic, very organized. Our players had a great time together. That's why I'm looking forward to our scrimmage this week. But just like I told Darnell in practice and our team, right now, like I said, the grind in college basketball. And so for the first couple of weeks, everybody has same energy. But you get those at the end of October and that 1st of November leading up, you can't just get to the games. You can't just get to the games. And especially us. I mean, you got to be making steady progress with your strength and conditioning, and you got to continue to improve from an individual player and a team. So these next 2 weeks are critical for us from a conditioning and a strength. And now you find out, too, and everybody finds out. It's like Stock's team. He's beat up, and that week off is great. But right now, there's not a guy in college football that doesn't have a nick or a bruise. There's not a lady basketball player. There's not a men's basketball player out there that feels exactly 100%. Nobody does. So now you kind of find out those guys that can ring it and go and play and be competitive every day when their body doesn't feel just right.
Coach, you mentioned last season you played a lot of guys. I think you said almost everyone on the team played in the Bahamas. How many guys do you expect to play this season, or around 10?
Yeah, we could, Aldo. I mean, we really could. I mean, those guys I just mentioned, I think Darnell can tell you, Carl Gamble, this freshman we've got, I mean, we've had some good ones. He may be the best freshman we've ever had here. And he's just good. He's got great basketball IQ. He's got as good a hands as I've seen for any young kid that we've had here. He's got a good motor. He's a great kid. He's wide-eyed when you coach him. And so he's going to be terrific. Quay Copeland's got a chance to be a good player. He's still learning, but very fast. And so Adonis, who we brought in foot, has really probably had his best last 4 or 5 days. So we're still trying to figure it out. And so that's the thing, too, with these guys. I mean, we're trying to figure out our roles. I mean, it's competition. We're all together, but it's competition within the teams. That's something that we're still trying to do. Because right now we could play maybe 10 or 11.
Well, that may have been part of my question. I was going to ask you to talk about the point guard position because I know we struggled last year at that to find somebody consistently to play that position game after game.
Yeah, and then right now I think we have 3 guys that are playing it. Jacob Ivory has been, I think, had a good preseason. Quay Copeland is getting better at taking care of the ball. He's our most athletic guy with the ball, very fast. Jaquan Raymond, who started at the point on our stretch run. So all those 3 guys, I think we've got good depth there, and I think all 3 of those guys have really made good progress.
To the team this year with Ja'Cory and Adonis. You know, Ja'Cory will have to sit out this year for NCAA rules, but tell me what type of players those guys are and what you can expect out of Foot.
You know, Ja'Cory Williams is a really athletic talent, left-handed, long. He's a really good 16, 17-foot shooter. But like I said, some guys have really got to take advantage of their redshirt year. LaRon Dindy was a guy that only averaged 5 points a game at Iowa State, but took advantage of his redshirt year. And so Ja'Cory Williams has got to have a really good year. There's a lot of things he does well. There's a lot of things we can really improve on, just his base of fundamentals and how to play. But he's really added to our practice. So I think he has a chance to be a really good player. Adonis Foot is a guy that, I mean, he's 6'6", 210. He's really athletic. He may be our strongest, most physical guy around the goal and traffic. And so like I said, his conditioning and trying to understand what we're doing, I've seen him improve. So hopefully he'll keep doing that.
You mentioned utilizing stretch big. Is the interior big man, is that kind of a endangered species, or do you kind of consider everything to be cyclical and it'll come back around?
Yeah, you're right. They're just as far as true centers, you know, and I think where we've affected the European game has affected our game in the last 20 years, has made more of our bigs more hybrid, and there's not as many, you know, just 6'11" guys that you just go block to block, you know, the old centers. And so, you know, is Darnell a good shooter? Yes. But Darnell, I think, is our best low-post scorer. And when he played and scored well last year, he got to the free throw line more, and he scored around the goal. And so, you know, you can't just be a guy that runs around the line. And so you got to be in and out. And that's kind of what we've recruited to. I mean, our 4s and 5s we've had a label of doing that for the last probably 8 or 10 years here.
Mentioned Perrin Buford earlier. What's his progress been like this offseason? And also, along with that, being a senior, is he a vocal guy at all?
Yeah, he's our best player right now. You can ask him about our team. I don't know if I've ever had one guy transform himself from this time last year in a year like Perrin Buford has had. He's always been a talented guy, but he trusted nobody this time last year. Didn't trust me, didn't trust the process. Liked basketball, but was trying to play basketball his own way. His leadership skills are terrific. His toughness is terrific. And you saw it come on at the end of last year. I'm so proud of Perrin. He's always been a really good student, very smart guy. But I'm telling you, he'll be one of the best players in our league based on his work he's put in and his leadership. And so, yeah, he's had a terrific spring and summer and fall.
Going back to the stretch offense, this is kind of a strategy that Tommy Eizon was sort of the creator of back in the 70s with Dave Cowens. What is it that's taken it so long for that strategy to be embraced?
You talking about just for a stretch, big guys? You know, I don't know, and I think it does. It goes, and I think the three-point line helped, you know, back in I think it was 1986 when I was at Idaho. So everybody started kind of finding the line, just even messing around, just practicing and shooting. You look at our 6'11" guys or 6'10" guys, they may be a center, but they love to kind of find the line just to mess around and start shooting balls. So I think that three-point line started stretching everybody out, and I think it got every position more cognizant of going out and trying to be more, you know, friendly and playing better on the perimeter.
As a coach, I know you're excited to play every game you play in this year, but which game stands out to you, or if not, what game stands out to your players, and are they most excited about it? Or is it those two revenge games against UAB? Is it Western? Is it Auburn? What game is this team most excited to play in this year?
You know, just to me, I'm a rivalry guy, so I love the Western Kentucky games. I love that we're playing twice. I think it's been great games over the time that I've been here. You know, I know it's the first one, but the Murray State game is just developing into two really good teams playing a televised game. You know, and then we've got, you come back in our 4-game homestand. You know, we got VCU, who has a chance to be maybe a top 25 team. We play them at home, our home opener. Then you go right to South Alabama. Then the Auburn game in Bridgestone, Belmont at home. So it's a really good stretch. The best team may be on our schedule is South Dakota State. And it's a neutral site. This company put it on. It's a nationally televised game, and it's played in the Pentagon. And that's a team that they went to the second round of the NIT. Vanderbilt beat them last year. They beat Colorado State in the first round. They got everybody back, and they'll be one of the best teams. People will know about them at the end of the year that maybe a lot of people don't know about them right now. So there's a lot of good games all day. But if I had to pick two, I'd pick Western Kentucky.
We've seen the numbers kind of rise each year for Reggie now. Do you envision a breakout year from this season, or what do you really expect from him this season?
Yeah, I think Reggie's had a really good spring and summer. And, you know, as a guy that our fan base identifies with him because he's been here since a freshman. You know, he started on our championship team his freshman year. You know, he weighs about 228. He's kind of had a little knee injury, so he's been off and on the last 4 or 5 days. He's without a brace now, so I think Reggie's totally healthy, so I think this next week will be good. You know, he's our leading rebounder and leading scorer from last year. And he's a versatile big guy that can do a lot of different things, so we think Reggie's going to have a great year for us.
Tennesseans obviously love Bruce Pearl, or I think most of them do. Is there a concern that even though you're just going half an hour away to a neutral site, that the neutral game is going to be almost an away game?
No, not at all. You know, we beat Vanderbilt there 2 years ago and had right around 9,000 people, and I think it was 8,700 Blue Raiders. And so it was a great home court advantage for us. I hope Bruce Pearl brings a lot of people. I hope it's half and half. I hope it's 17,000 people. So I hope he attracts a lot of fans to come. But I think it'll definitely be a home court advantage. We got to do our part. We got to play well before that game, and that's what teams have to do. We have to, you know, we've had some momentum. We got to keep building momentum by the way we play and attract fans, and hope it's a great day on a Saturday there.
What's the momentum and what's the vibe you feel around campus? You know, you hear every day about men's basketball this season. Obviously, you have Murphy Madness coming up this week. But what's the vibe you get this year compared to years past? You know,
I have a good vibe about it. I had a great vibe on our tip-off celebration. You know, we sold it out. You were there all day. I feel good about it. I think there's a lot of excitement about both teams. You know, like Rick said, you know, I've been doing this thing a long time, and our guys pull for these ladies to play, and it's vice versa. And they've got an unbelievable program, and I think just the more we all win, the better we all are. So I hope, you know, last year we probably had a little under 4,000 for Murphy Madness. I sure hope a lot of the students will come, you know, and they'll get a chance to see, because that thing is strictly for the players and for the fans. And I hope we have a great night, and they'll be able to see some of the new players and some of the returning players like Olivia and Darnell play. And so we're looking forward to it. I sense a good vibe. But our both teams need to get off to good starts and play good. You know, we're 56-8 at home in 4 years. I mean, home, that's one of the top 10 or 15 records in college basketball at home. And you do that with really good players and a good fan base, and we got to continue to improve both.
Looking at the 3 seniors on the team, what's their leadership role really? Because 2 of them obviously have only played 1 year. It's kind of a weird situation with them. What's the senior leadership like?
I've been unbelievably impressed by what Darnell and Perrin and Jaquan has done. It started, and Darnell can tell you, it started last year when we got beat. We went right back to work, like Rick's team. And those guys' leadership, Darnell Harris has improved so much. Like I say, he's a bright guy, going to graduate on time. He's a good player, but his leadership, being able to bring it every day in the weight room in the summer. So I'm tickled to death by those 3. And then probably right now, it's probably maybe the strength of our team is the leadership.